Morning, guys. Right, we got this question there from Nuria Sanchez, and she's come up, she's found a contract which she's put on CoinSniffer, and it says there's a mint function in the code, and she's been looking through the code and she can't find it. Now, the mint function is pretty well hidden, to be fair, it really is, and the code is trying to confuse you by using commonly used words in Solidity that you might expect to see there in a way they're not normally used. So this is my reply explaining what's going on, but I thought I'd make a video about it as well to show you the way that I found this so that you can find these things yourself. So let's jump into the contracts. This is it on PooCoin. It's called Spook Inu. You can see the contract address there. So if you were thinking of buying it, don't. It 100% is a scam. So let's show you why it's a scam. So here's the code. Right, first things first, I looked for commonly hidden mint functions. There were none, so I had to dig a little deeper. So I want to show you what I did to find the mint function. So up here, I searched for a modifier. So we've got two modifiers in this contract, these two. Now, that's not normally the route that I would take, but when I went over to read contract, I could see that the owner is the zero address. So the contract has been renounced. So the owner is the zero address. Now, we're going to dig into what a modifier is so that you can understand how this works. This is the most common modifier you will see on any contract. It's very, very standard. The modifier has to use this word, modifier, so they're very easy to find. But this word can be anything at all. It's just a keyword. It can be anything that you want. So this one is called only owner. Now, the way this works, you can see that this function here, which is the function to renounce ownership of the contract, has got the modifier only owner. So inside this function's code, which is these lines of code here, that is this function, but because it has the modifier only owner, the contract goes up to, excuse me, the contract goes up to here, and it takes all of this code and it puts it where this underscore is. So the new function becomes this line of code and then these two. So if we took that line of code and popped it into here, it would be exactly the same. Now, these modifiers, I don't think they exist in any other programming language. You can sort of do them in PHP using imports, but they're so handy. They really are, because if you're writing loads and loads of functions and you keep having this line of code over and over and over again, instead of putting it in the function, you can have it in one of these modifiers, and then if you change this, you change in every single function. So they're really, really practical. So anyway, that's what's going on with this. So in this particular case, with only owner, it is saying you can run these lines of code, but you do it here. So this line of code must be run first. So in this particular case, can't select it, it's saying there is a required statement that the message sender, which is the person that is actually calling the function, so that is the person that clicks on the button here when they've done it, they're the message sender. So there is a requirement that that wallet address is also known as owner, and that's set somewhere else in the contract. The contract doesn't know that this means owner of contract, that's set somewhere else. And if your wallet address doesn't match the one that's been set to this, then the rest of the code that would be here will not run. So you've got to satisfy this before the rest of the function will run. So that's how modifiers work. So let's have a look at this one. So this one, it's very, very sneaky because it's called underscore external. Now I'm going to jump into a little bit of code. So I want to show you this, it's quite interesting. I've got some code up here. This is a function which I have set to visibility public. That's what that does there. And because it's public, you would be able to see it here. And you would be able to access it, and the contract would be able to access it as well. If I changed it to external, like that, then you'd also be able to see it here on the right page, but the contract itself wouldn't be able to trigger that function. It's only external, it's not internal. If I changed it to internal, like that, then the contract can trigger the function, but you wouldn't see it externally. So publicly, it wouldn't be available. So those are the ways that we can make a function visible. So it's called the visibility of the function. And this piece of software I'm using here knows to color code this word because it's an important word in this language. So it makes it red, makes it easier for me to see my code. It also knows that this function needs to be this color and the name of the function this color. So it makes coding really, really useful. Now, only owner is just some keyword that's used for the name of a modifier. Now watch this, if I put an underscore, it won't be red anymore because it's no longer doing the same thing. Underscore internal is not a word that is used to set the visibility of a function. As equally, public will set the visibility of function, so it's red, but underscore public will not. That won't do anything at all. Now you cannot have two. If I do external and public, that would not compile. So if I go to Remix, which is where one of the places we compile functions, you can see here this is a function that I've made public. I could make it external, and it goes. This program colours it green, but I can't have both. I can't have public and external. We get an error, and it will say the visibility has already been set to external. Therefore, the word public is an error, and it won't compile. So you can't have both. So what they've tried to do, they did it the other way, but they're trying to make their external not look suspicious, which they've done it like this. So they're hoping that we won't notice it, but we did. So let's get back over to their thing. So now that we know there's a dodgy modifier in there and the contract, although it's been renounced so the owner can do nothing, it does have this, this modifier in here. So the modifier for, where is it? Oh, I was right there. So it's there's a require statement, and it's saying that this address, that has to be the wallet address of the person triggering the function. But it doesn't say anywhere that the owner has to do anything, so it doesn't matter that the contract is renounced. Any function inside here that has the modifier, which is called underscore external, can be triggered by this wallet. Doesn't matter that it's renounced. So let's have a look what functions they can access. So we've got external, and it's only one. Oh, that's good news. So this is the function. It's public, which means you can see it. It's not external, but it does have a modifier, which is called underscore external. So they're definitely trying to be a bit sneaky. So there we go. That is the modifier. So this is the function. So what does the function do? Well, ignore that bit. That doesn't really matter. The important bit is this line of code right here. So they're putting into this function a wallet address which has the keyword of from and a number. uint256 means an unsigned integer of 256 bytes, which means an absolutely massive number, but because it's unsigned, it can't be a minus number. It can only be 0 up to something crazy. So a wallet address and a number, and those appear down here. So one of them appears there, and the other one appears here. So this is saying balances. So the balance, as in the amount of tokens you've got, if you are this wallet address, equals this crazy sum. Now here's something else weird, because swap and liquefy it's something that it's a word that we very, very commonly use in Solidity. Normally it's a Boolean, so it can be set to true or false. And in a contract we'll say if swap and liquefy is true, then we can process the fees and make liquidity. If it's false, then we won't do that. So this is a really, really common keyword in Solidity, but it doesn't mean anything to Solidity. We could call it anything. We could call it if eggs and bacon are true, then process fees. If eggs and bacon are false, don't process fees. So we can call it whatever we want, but it's just been adopted as a little bit of a standard. But in this situation, it's not a Boolean. It's not true or false. So if we find it, we'll see that it is swap and liquefy equals swap and liquefy. It's actually an integer. So it's an unsigned integer, which means it's just a number. And that number was set in the constructor. So when they deployed the contract, they set that number. So yeah, they've got a word that we use really often, swap and liquefy, and now using it to store a number. We don't know what that number is, but it's not really important. But anyway, let's get back to the function. So we have some maths here saying the balance of whatever wallet is entered here is, an equal sign just means make it this. So if all of this here was just the number 10, it would change your balance to 10, basically. So it's whatever number this is, multiplied by whatever number this is, multiplied by whatever number this is, and then multiplied by 10 to the power of 9, which is going to be the number of decimals in the contract. So if all of this stuff equaled 100, then it would add 9 zeros on the end, and you would get 100 tokens. But it's multiplying it by this number and then dividing it by this number. But anyway, I've gone and had a look at the wallet address that is triggering these functions. So to get to that, go into the transactions of the contract, and you will see this Spook Inu thing is triggered really, really often. So let's just jump into any one of them. You go down here and click on more info, you go and look at decode, and you can see they added this wallet address, could be yours, and they added 0. I've looked at all of these, it's always the same. It's always a wallet address and a 0. So taking that as the from, could be your wallet address, and the value is 0, let's go and have another look at that function. So, oh Christ, hang on. Let's get back in there. Right, so we're going back to the Spook Inu function. So let's put the numbers in. So balance, your wallet, number we don't know, multiplied by number we don't know, multiplied by 0. So whatever these two numbers are, we've now got 0. Multiplied by 10 to the power of 9, which is also 0, divided by number we don't know, also 0. So this entire function here says the balance of your wallet, we are going to set it to, which is what 1 equals means, 0. So they've just stolen all of your tokens by running your wallet address and a 0 through this function. So the hidden mint function that Coin Sniffer was able to detect is this function, and it would be their wallet address and a number that is not 0. And then this becomes the balance of their wallet is going to be set to a number we don't know, multiplied by another number we don't know, multiplied by a number that isn't going to be 0, multiplied by 10 to the power of 9 to add a load of zeros on the end, and then divided by charity fee. I think this bit here, divide by charity, multiplied by charity fee, I think the whole idea there is to try and add a little bit of confusion. It really doesn't need to be there. Equally, this using swap and liquefy here, which is just a number, is also to add some confusion, and equally using external with an underscore as the name of a modifier is also to try and distract attention so that people think it's the visibility of the function. You can't have two visibilities. So that's what's going on here. A little bit longer video than I expected. But yeah, it does have a min function. That's where it's hidden. That's how I found it. So that's probably how you can find it too. So bear in mind that in Solidity, there are words that have specific meanings. There are also words that are very, very commonly used, but we don't have to use that word. We could use anything. So if I jump back over to my coding program, it's like this word function has to be the word function. You can't use any other word to kind of like start making a function. You've got to use that word first. But this is the name of the function, and it can be anything, anything at all. This is the word public, can be public, internal, or external. That's the visibility of the function, and it has to be one of those. When we make a modifier, I don't think I've got, oh yeah, I've got modifiers on this contract. This is Foxgirl. I'm going through the code at the moment because we're going to Certec for an audit, and I need to put some comments in here to help them to do their audit. So yeah, this modifier, it has to be the word modifier in order for this to be used as a modifier. And this only owner could be anything. It's just become such a standard that everyone uses it, but that really could be anything at all. So bear in mind that a lot of things that you see in Solidity could be anything. So swap and liquefy, whoops. If I search for swap and liquefy, you'll see that swap and liquefy is in here really often because it's something that we commonly use in Solidity. But it doesn't need to be, oops, I've done it wrong. It doesn't need to be swap and liquefy. You see how it's blue? We could name, the ones that are blue are just the names of things, and we can name them whatever we want. So, so yeah, swap and liquefy. I changed it to swap and liquefy enabled. That's what I called it. Normally people call it swap and liquefy, but it can be called anything. So you'll see, if I go and find it, this is it. It's a Boolean, and it's called swap and liquefy enabled, and I've got it set to true, which means the contract will process the fees. But I mean, I could have called this anything at all, but normally people call it swap and liquefy. So that's what they've gone and done. They've used something that we use really, really often in code in a different way. This isn't true or false, it's a number. So yeah, very sneaky. So yeah, and what I said before about the equal sign, one equal sign in code is kind of assigning a value. So you can see it here, look, this is a Boolean, it can be set to true or false, and I am setting it to true. Two equal signs is, let's check. So here we go, look, this is checking something. So this is saying if %AutoLP, which is a number, is equal to 0, then do something. But if I did this, which would be a mistake, then that would actually set the value of %AutoLP to 0. So one equals is setting a value, two equals is checking whether or not these two things match each other. So if this was equal to 0, it would satisfy that part of this statement. There we go, guys. Got a little bit carried away there. But that's how we found the hidden mint function. So stay away from that contract. It absolutely is a scam. And there's so much suspicious code going on here. There really is. With trying to confuse people. Not much going on in the contract, which was nice because it made it easy to find where the scammy things were. But it's also worth digging into the owner wallet. So the owner wallet on this particular contract is the person that deployed it is the same wallet, this one right here. If we click on that wallet, you'll see that they called this Spook Inu function. So obviously they're the wallet which has been designated the name of charity fee, which is a little bit misleading because otherwise they wouldn't have been able to call this function. But down here they also called renounce ownership. So they are also the wallet which was the owner of the contract, because if they were not, they wouldn't have been able to call renounce ownership, because that one had the modifier of only owner. So we know that this wallet address is a scammer. We absolutely know that. So we can look at that wallet. You could click here and you could change it to view contracts that they've created. They've only created this one on this particular wallet, but if there were a load of them in here, you'd absolutely know that all of them are scams. So let's go back to transactions. One of the things that you might want to look for is this contract receiving money or sending money out. So have we got any more? Oh, there's 30, so there are a couple more. So there's probably going to be money coming in. No, there's not. So there's probably some internal things. Let's have a little look. So an internal transaction. So they did get sent from this contract 10.5 BNB. So obviously they've got to put money into the wallet from somewhere. So obviously where this has come from, it's either going to be something else that they created, which is a scam, like their previous scam, or it's going to be like they've sent money to their wallet from another wallet, which is a scam, or they've sent money to their wallet from like Binance hot wallet or something. But do bear in mind that the money could have come from somewhere that's genuine. So when you see whatever feeds this wallet with money, it doesn't mean it comes from somewhere dodgy. For instance, I do giveaways, and sometimes I give away BNB as a prize. So some scammer could enter a giveaway, win the prize, and I would send them BNB to their wallet, and then they could have made a totally fresh wallet, got the BNB, and then my wallet's connected to theirs. They do a load of scams. People look at their scams, they look where their money come from, they see my wallet, and then they think, this guy's a scammer as well, because this is where he got his money from. So it's not always dodgy, but in most situations it would be. Now, interestingly as well, you know when people jump into the chat and they say, can someone send me some money for gas? Right, that's a really common thing that people do. I think in a lot of situations, people do that because they've made a brand new wallet. They don't want it in any way connected to them, but they've got to put money in it to be able to start their scam, because you can't do anything without money because everything costs gas. So they might be trying to deploy a dodgy contract or whatever. But if they haven't got any money whatsoever and they can't feed their wallet with money without revealing who they are, then one of the things they might do is say, hey guys, can somebody lend me some BNB just to cover the price of gas? I've sent people BNB in that situation. I mean, they ask a few people, build up a little BNB, and then that wallet, not connected to them at all, but connected to other genuine, nice people that gave them money, then goes on and does scams. So that's something to be aware of. Scatter token simple, scatter ether. I don't know what this is, but this is where contract creator. This is where the money came from. So it looks like this is a contract that they've made for the purposes of doing dodgy things. Contract name scatter. Yeah, I mean, it already seems a little bit dodgy, don't it? Yeah, they're using this to do something that's suspicious. I wonder what comments people have made on it. It's probably advertising snipe bops. No, just some bullshit. I wanted to look at the creator. So this is the address that created that. It's not the same address as that other one. Oh, we knew it wasn't anyway, didn't we? So, I mean, it's very, very, very likely that this is a scammer's wallet, but there's no guarantee about that. So you just got to be careful when you start digging through this. I mean, one of the things that I did a while ago, there was a scam and I was trying to find out who was responsible for the scam. And it was a member of a team that I was connected to that had done a scam. It was at the beginning of No War Coin. And we dug into this wallet that looked so bloody suspicious. And some money had been sent to this wallet. So I was digging through that wallet for absolutely ages. I went back on the blockchain for weeks and I could not find anything at all that was suspicious. And then I mentioned it to someone else who was part of the team that I was working with. And he went, oh yeah, that was me. I was like, you what? And he goes, yeah, he asked me to send him some money, so I did. And I was like, oh, bloody hell. It's like the person we were investigating, we knew the person was, and we were damn sure he'd done something scammy, and we were trying to find the scam. But it covered his tracks so well. But yeah, there was one wallet that fed it some money, and it just so happened to be someone I completely trust. I'm not going to say who these people are. But yeah, I'd been digging through his wallet for such a long time. I was like, I've wasted so much time. I spent ages doing it. And he went, oh yeah, I did that. That was me. He sent me a message. Oh, can you send me some BNB to send to Jen? I was like, ah. But yeah, be careful when you start to dig through these things. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this video useful, and I hope it's given you a couple more ways that you can look into contracts and a couple of more things to look out for. But specifically, always check a contract for the modifier, because quite often sneaky modifiers are used to enable someone a little bit of a backdoor into a contract. So, I mean, a lot of times people say, you know, someone said it on comments on my last video, this is one of the reasons why we want renounced contracts. And I've got to say, these days, if I see a contract has been renounced, immediately I become incredibly suspicious. These days, genuine people don't renounce contracts, with the exception of AutoShield. I know that's genuine. I did the code. I renounced the contract for them. I added the liquidity and burned it. I know that's genuine. I know why they chose to renounce. But it's very uncommon. These days, most responsible developers do not renounce ownership, but scammers do. Scammers have realized that investors are looking for renounced ownerships. So they renounce and then they leave some backdoor into the contract, and they do stuff like this to steal your money, and they do it in sneaky ways. So normally they do that with a modifier, but it doesn't have to be a modifier. Let me just show you quickly before I shut this down. So let's, if I get, could I do it in Remix instead? If I've got a modifier in here, I don't think I put any modifiers. This is just a contract that I use to split my fees to feed Gen. Look, this is what it is. And any money that I make from future contracts is going to be sent here. And then when it arrives here, half of it goes to me as my wages, and half of it goes to the token Gen, like the marketing wallet of Gen. That's how I'm going to do this in the future. But look at this. These functions are public, so they will appear on the right contract page, but I didn't include a modifier. So normally you'd see here, only owner. That's what normally would be there. But I only add a couple of functions, so rather than bothering to put only owner in, I just put the require statement, because they were both different anyway. So this is requiring that the message sender is the wallet that I've called dev, which is my wallet. So only me and no one else can update the address of my wallet in case I change it in future. That's what this function is doing. Equally, if I need to update the marketing wallet for Gen, then I can only do that from that wallet. So it stops other people from accessing these things. So when I say search for a modifier, they might not have used a modifier, and in fact, they really shouldn't, because it draws attention to themselves. But if within the function they've got require message sender equals, this wallet that is not the owner, then it doesn't matter if ownership is renounced, because if I renounce ownership of this contract, I can still call this function as long as I'm calling it from the wallet that is, dev, which is up here somewhere. So that if I use this wallet, if I use this wallet, I can call the function. If I use this wallet, I can call the other function. So this wallet is my main one, and this wallet is the wallet which I use to deploy the contract Gen, and it's the one that the marketing for Gen goes to and all of that kind of stuff. So you can see how these things work. A modifier normally inserts this piece of code, but you don't need a modifier, you can just insert this piece of code. In this situation, I only needed to use it once, therefore I didn't bother. I even had the modifier code in there, look. So I've got the modifier, it's here, but I just didn't bother using it. I should remove it from the code, there's no need for it to be there. Anyway guys, that's all from me. I hope you've learned something from this video. If you did, then please go and, oh hang on, what's this? Can you tell me, where did you see that wallet called? There you go. Where did I see it? Right, hang on, let's just answer that question on this video before we shut it down. So here's the contract, look. So she'd given me the contract address, so we've got the contract. In fact, I'll go and grab it from her. Where is it? Hang on. Where is it? Where is it? There you go. See, she says hello. Say hello to YouTube people. There you go. Nuria says hi to my subscribers, of which she is probably one. Right, so she gave me the contract address, so let's paste that in. And we'll jump over to here. And we can see transactions. Where did I get it from? Oh, hang on, that's not the contract address, is it? Right, pop it into BSC. This is what I do. You pop it in there. We'll go over to it. Here's the contract. And we can see on the transactions, that this function is being called Spook Inu, Spook Inu, Spook Inu all the time. So we can see that this is the wallet that called the function. I mean, it might not be as obvious as this because normally there's loads of buys and all that kind of stuff. This approve is people trying to sell. Every time you see this, that's someone trying to sell. So approving PancakeSwap to sell their tokens and then not being able to. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. See you soon. Oh, should I say this is a scam? There we go. Right, I'll add my video on there. Normally, if I have a video on these comments, it deletes it. A lot of people have been flagging my BSC comments as scam over and over and over and over again. So quite often as spam. Sorry, did I say scam? They've been flagging my comments as spam very aggressively in order for my comments to automatically be flagged as spam whenever I post a video in these places. And I think it's just the scammers trying to stop me from posting in here. Right, bye-bye. See you all soon. Well, let's see if anyone said anything in the group before I shut it down. Just hello. See you later, guys.